Detective Inspector Sarah Mitchell arrived at Greater Manchester Police Headquarters at 5:30 in the morning, 2 hours earlier than usual. The building buzzed with unusual activity as officers and staff members prepared for what would become one of the most significant days in the force's recent history. King Charles III was scheduled to visit the headquarters later that morning to present the Queen's Police Medal to several outstanding officers and to officially open the new Cybercrime Investigation Unit. Sarah had been chosen as one of the coordinating officers for the royal visit, a responsibility that filled her with both pride and nervous energy. She walked through the corridors, checking that every detail was perfect. The floors gleamed under the fluorescent lights, freshly polished overnight by a dedicated cleaning crew. Photographs of previous royal visits hung along the walls, reminding everyone of the tradition they were continuing. Chief Constable David Armstrong stood in the main reception area, adjusting his ceremonial uniform for the third time that morning. His usually calm demeanor showed subtle signs of the pressure he felt. This visit was more than ceremonial. It represented recognition of the force's exceptional work over the past year, particularly their success in dismantling a major international drug trafficking network that had operated across Manchester and beyond. The special occasion that had prompted the royal visit was the force's achievement in Operation Fortress, a complex investigation that had taken 18 months to complete. The operation had not only resulted in the arrest of 37 criminals, but had also prevented an estimated £50 million worth of illegal drugs from reaching the streets of Greater Manchester. The success had caught national attention and ultimately led to the invitation for His Majesty to visit. Officer James Thompson, a 28-year-old constable who had played a crucial role in Operation Fortress, stood near the window overlooking the car park. He watched as security personnel conducted final sweeps of the area, their careful movements methodical and professional. James had joined the force 5 years earlier, inspired by a desire to make a real difference in his community. Today, he would meet the king and receive the Queen's Police Medal for his bravery during a particularly dangerous phase of the investigation. The morning sun cast long shadows across the headquarters as more staff arrived. Detective Sergeant Maria Santos hurried through the entrance, carrying a folder containing detailed briefing notes about the cybercrime unit that would be officially opened today. The unit represented a significant investment in modern policing, equipped with the latest technology to combat online crime that increasingly affected people across the region. Maria had spent weeks preparing presentations about the cybercrime unit's capabilities. The facility housed specialized computer equipment worth over £2 million, designed to track down online criminals, investigate digital fraud, and protect vulnerable people from cyber threats. The unit's establishment had been personally approved by the Home Secretary, making today's royal opening particularly meaningful. In the canteen, civilian staff members arranged refreshments with military precision. Mrs. Eleanor Hayes, the catering manager who had worked at the headquarters for 15 years, supervised the preparation of traditional English tea and carefully selected biscuits. She remembered previous royal visits and understood the importance of every small detail being perfect. The press had begun gathering outside the building, their cameras and equipment creating a small crowd behind the security barriers. Local news reporters prepared their stories about the visit, aware that this would be front-page news across Greater Manchester. The royal visit would showcase the police force's achievements to a wider audience and demonstrate the strong relationship between the monarchy and law enforcement. Security arrangements for the visit were extensive but discreet. Officers from the Royal Protection Unit had arrived the previous day to conduct thorough assessments of the building and surrounding area. They worked closely with local security teams to ensure that every aspect of the king's safety was carefully considered without making the event feel overly restricted or formal. As 8 o'clock approached, the final preparations intensified. Flowers were positioned in precise locations throughout the building, adding color and warmth to the typically functional police environment. The ceremonial hall had been transformed into an elegant space suitable for the medal presentation ceremony, with rows of chairs arranged for invited guests, including the families of the officers being honored. The mayor of Manchester arrived early, eager to greet His Majesty and discuss the city's ongoing partnership with the police force. Local dignitaries and community leaders would also attend the ceremony, representing the diverse communities that the police serve every day across Greater Manchester. Detective Inspector Mitchell conducted a final walkthrough of the route the king would take through the building. Every door had been checked, every security protocol confirmed. The months of planning were about to be put to the test, and she felt confident that everything was ready for this historic occasion. The morning air filled with anticipation as the time for the royal arrival drew closer. Police officers straightened their uniforms, civilians checked their presentations one final time, and the entire headquarters prepared to welcome King Charles III for an occasion that would be remembered for years to come. At exactly 10:15, the sound of approaching vehicles signaled the arrival of the royal convoy. Chief Constable Armstrong stood at the main entrance alongside Detective Inspector Mitchell and other senior officers, their ceremonial uniforms immaculate under the morning sun. The small crowd of invited guests and media representatives fell silent as three dark vehicles approached the headquarters building. King Charles III emerged from the second vehicle with a natural grace and dignity that comes from decades of public service. He wore a dark navy suit with subtle pinstripes, complemented by a silk tie in deep blue. His warm smile immediately put everyone at ease as he approached the welcoming committee. The months of preparation suddenly felt worthwhile as the reality of the moment settled over everyone present. Your Majesty, welcome to Greater Manchester Police Headquarters, Chief Constable Armstrong said as he stepped forward. We are deeply honored by your visit today. The king shook hands with each of the senior officers, taking time to exchange a few words with each person. His genuine interest in their work was immediately apparent, and the formal atmosphere began to relax into something more personal and meaningful. Detective Inspector Mitchell found herself briefly alone with His Majesty as they walked toward the building entrance. I understand you've been instrumental in organizing today's ceremony, the king said, his voice carrying genuine appreciation. The work your force has accomplished with Operation Fortress is truly remarkable. Sarah felt a surge of pride as she thanked him, realizing that the king had clearly been thoroughly briefed about their achievements. Inside the headquarters, the royal party made their way through corridors lined with police officers and civilian staff. Each person had been carefully positioned to ensure they could witness this historic moment while maintaining the security and dignity required for such an occasion. The king stopped frequently to speak with officers, asking about their roles and expressing interest in their experiences. Officer James Thompson stood among his colleagues near the entrance to the ceremonial hall. When the king approached their group, James felt his heart rate increase with nervous excitement. I'm told you played a particularly brave role in Operation Fortress, His Majesty said, extending his hand to James. Your country is grateful for officers like you who put themselves in danger to protect others. The conversation continued as they moved toward the cybercrime unit, where Detective Sergeant Maria Santos waited with her carefully prepared presentation. The new facility represented the cutting edge of modern policing, and Maria felt both excitement and responsibility as she prepared to show the king around the high-tech equipment and explain how it would be used to combat digital crime. This is fascinating technology, the king observed as Maria demonstrated the advanced computer systems. I imagine this type of crime is becoming increasingly sophisticated. Maria explained how online criminals had evolved their methods and how the police needed to stay ahead of these developments through continuous training and investment in new technology. The tour of the cybercrime unit revealed the complexity of modern law enforcement. Banks of computer screens displayed various monitoring systems, while specialized software helped analysts track digital footprints left by online criminals. The king showed genuine curiosity about how the technology worked, asking detailed questions that demonstrated his understanding of the challenges facing contemporary policing. Mrs. Hayes, the catering manager, had prepared a brief refreshment stop in a small meeting room. As the king enjoyed tea and traditional biscuits, he chatted informally with several officers about their daily work. The conversation revealed his deep appreciation for the sacrifices made by police officers and their families, particularly during difficult investigations like Operation Fortress. The work you do often goes unrecognized by the public, the king noted during the informal gathering. But today we celebrate not just your recent achievements, but your ongoing commitment to keeping our communities safe. His words resonated deeply with everyone present, many of whom had never expected to have such a personal conversation with the monarch. Local media representatives were given carefully managed access to photograph certain moments of the visit. The images would later appear in newspapers across the region, showing the king's genuine engagement with the police force and highlighting the important work being done at the headquarters. The publicity would help build public confidence in local law enforcement. The mayor of Manchester joined the royal party as they prepared to move toward the ceremonial hall for the main event of the day. The medal presentation ceremony would recognize the exceptional bravery and dedication shown by several officers during Operation Fortress, with Officer Thompson among those to be honored. As they walked through the building, conversations continued naturally between the king and various staff members. His ability to put people at ease while maintaining appropriate dignity impressed everyone who met him. The formal protocols were observed, but the atmosphere remained warm and genuinely appreciative. The anticipation built as they approached the ceremonial hall, where families and colleagues of the honored officers waited. This would be the centerpiece of the visit, a moment when individual acts of courage and dedication would be recognized at the highest level. The months of dangerous investigation work that had led to the success of Operation Fortress were about to receive the recognition they deserved. Detective Inspector Mitchell felt a deep sense of satisfaction as she watched the king interact with her colleagues. The careful planning and attention to detail had created an occasion that would be remembered fondly by everyone involved, while properly honoring the brave work of the officers being recognized today. The ceremonial hall had been transformed into an elegant venue worthy of the occasion. Deep red carpet runners led to a small stage where King Charles III would present the Queen's Police Medal to the honored officers. Family members filled the carefully arranged seating, their faces showing a mixture of pride and nervous anticipation as they prepared to watch their loved ones receive one of the highest honors in British policing. Chief Constable Armstrong stepped to the podium to address the assembled guests. His voice carried clearly through the hall as he explained the significance of the Queen's Police Medal and the extraordinary circumstances that had led to today's ceremony. Operation Fortress required exceptional courage, dedication, and sacrifice from every officer involved. He began. Today, we honor those who went above and beyond the call of duty. James Thompson sat in the front row with 4 other officers who would receive medals. His parents had traveled from Scotland for the ceremony, and he could see his mother dabbing her eyes with a tissue. The weight of the moment struck him as he thought about the dangerous undercover work that had led to this recognition. Those 18 months of investigation had tested every officer involved, but the results had made their communities significantly safer. Detective Sergeant Maria Santos was among the recipients, her work in tracking the digital aspects of the criminal network having proved crucial to the operation's success. She had spent countless hours analyzing computer data, following electronic money trails, and building the technical evidence needed to secure convictions. Her expertise had helped connect crimes across multiple countries, leading to international cooperation that strengthened the entire investigation. King Charles III took his position on the stage, his presence lending gravity and importance to the ceremony. He spoke briefly about the vital role of police officers in maintaining the safety and security that allows society to function. The work you do requires not just professional skill, but personal courage, he said. Today we recognize officers who have demonstrated both qualities in exceptional measure. The first officer called forward was Detective Constable Susan Reynolds, who had worked undercover for months to infiltrate the drug trafficking network. Her work had been particularly dangerous, requiring her to build relationships with criminals while gathering evidence. The king presented her medal with obvious respect, taking time to speak privately with her about her experiences during the operation. Officer Thompson's name was called, and he walked across the stage with measured steps, conscious that this moment would remain with him for the rest of his life. "Your bravery during the warehouse raid was exemplary," the king said as he pinned the medal to James's uniform. "The intelligence you gathered under extremely dangerous circumstances was vital to the operation's success." The ceremony continued with each recipient receiving individual recognition for their specific contributions to Operation Fortress. Detective Inspector Alex Morgan had coordinated the complex logistics of simultaneous raids across multiple locations. Sergeant Patricia Wilson had provided crucial support during the most dangerous phases of the undercover work. Each officer had played a unique role in the investigation's ultimate success. Maria Santos stepped forward when her name was announced, feeling a profound sense of accomplishment as the king recognized her technical expertise. "The digital evidence you compiled was instrumental in securing convictions," His Majesty noted. "Your work represents the future of modern policing." The recognition of her specialized skills felt particularly meaningful, as cybercrime investigation was still a relatively new field within law enforcement. Family members watched with obvious emotion as their relatives received these prestigious honors. The medals represented not just individual achievements, but recognition of the sacrifices made by entire families during the long investigation. Spouses had endured months of uncertainty. Children had missed time with parents who worked extended hours, and everyone had lived with the constant awareness of the dangers involved. The king spoke personally with each recipient, demonstrating his genuine interest in their work and his understanding of the challenges they had faced. His conversations revealed detailed knowledge of Operation Fortress and appreciation for the complexity of modern criminal investigations. The personal attention he gave each officer made the ceremony feel intimate despite the formal setting. After the individual presentations, His Majesty addressed the entire assembly about the broader significance of their work. "Operation Fortress has made communities across Greater Manchester safer," he said. "But more than that, it has demonstrated the capability and dedication of British policing at its finest. You have shown that no criminal organization, however sophisticated, is beyond the reach of determined and skilled law enforcement." The ceremony concluded with a moment of silence for police officers who had lost their lives in the line of duty. This solemn recognition reminded everyone present of the ultimate sacrifice that some officers make in service to their communities. The silence was deeply felt by all present, adding gravity to the celebration of courage and achievement. Applause filled the hall as the ceremony officially ended, but the king remained on stage, continuing to speak informally with the medal recipients and their families. His genuine interest in their personal stories and his obvious respect for their service created an atmosphere of mutual appreciation and understanding. Photographers captured the historic moments, creating lasting records of the ceremony that would be treasured by the families and preserved in the police force's archives. The images would serve as inspiration for future officers and as evidence of the high standards expected in British policing. As the formal ceremony concluded, guests began to mingle in the reception area where refreshments had been prepared. The atmosphere remained dignified but relaxed, allowing families to celebrate privately while the honored officers continued their conversations with His Majesty. The success of the ceremony reflected months of careful planning and the genuine significance of the achievements being recognized. Following the medal ceremony, King Charles III and the assembled guests moved to the newly constructed Cybercrime Investigation Unit for the official opening. The state-of-the-art facility represented a significant investment in the future of policing, equipped with advanced technology specifically designed to combat the growing threat of online criminal activity that affected communities across Greater Manchester and beyond. Detective Sergeant Maria Santos led the tour through the facility, her expertise evident as she explained the sophisticated equipment and investigative techniques employed by the unit. The main operations room featured multiple large screens displaying real-time data feeds, allowing investigators to monitor suspicious online activity and coordinate responses to cyber threats as they emerged. This facility represents our commitment to staying ahead of criminals who exploit digital technology, Chief Constable Armstrong explained to His Majesty. Online crime has become increasingly sophisticated, and we need equally sophisticated tools and techniques to protect our communities. The king nodded thoughtfully, clearly understanding the importance of this technological advancement in modern law enforcement. The cybercrime unit had been designed with input from leading technology companies and cybersecurity experts. Specialized computer workstations allowed investigators to analyze digital evidence without compromising sensitive data or alerting criminals to ongoing investigations. The secure environment ensured that confidential information remained protected while enabling thorough analysis of complex digital crimes. Technical specialist David Chunt demonstrated the advanced forensic software that could recover deleted files, trace online communications, and analyze the digital footprints left by cybercriminals. We can now investigate crimes that would have been impossible to solve just a few years ago, he explained. The king showed particular interest in how the technology could protect vulnerable people from online fraud and exploitation. The unit's capabilities extended beyond individual investigations to include prevention and education programs designed to help the public protect themselves from cyber threats. Community liaison officers would use the facility to deliver presentations in schools and community centers, teaching people how to recognize and avoid online scams, identity theft, and other digital crimes that have become increasingly common. Inspector Rachel Foster, who would head the cybercrime unit, explained the collaborative approach they would take with other law enforcement agencies. Cybercrime crosses all boundaries, she noted. We work closely with national agencies and international partners to track criminals who operate across multiple jurisdictions. The king appreciated the global nature of this work and the cooperation required to combat international criminal networks. The facility included specialized training rooms where officers from across the region would learn advanced investigative techniques. The rapidly evolving nature of cybercrime required continuous education and skills development, ensuring that investigators remain current with the latest criminal methods and defensive technologies. Mrs. Eleanor Hayes had prepared a special display of the unit's community outreach materials, including educational brochures and interactive presentations designed for different age groups. The king examined these materials with interest, understanding that prevention through education was often more effective than investigating crimes after they occurred. The opening ceremony reached its climax when His Majesty was invited to officially inaugurate the facility by unveiling a commemorative plaque. The bronze plaque would permanently mark this historic occasion and serve as a reminder of the royal recognition given to this important advancement in law enforcement capability. I am delighted to officially open this cybercrime investigation unit, the king announced to the assembled guests. This facility represents not just technological advancement, but a commitment to protecting all members of our society from those who would exploit them through digital means. His words were met with enthusiastic applause from the police officers, local officials, and community representatives present. The mayor of Manchester spoke briefly about the partnership between the police force and the local community that had made the cybercrime unit possible. Local businesses had contributed both financial support and technical expertise, while community groups had provided input on the types of online crimes that most concerned ordinary citizens. Young people from local schools had been invited to attend the opening ceremony, representing the generation that had grown up with digital technology, but also faced the greatest risks from online predators and cybercriminals. Their presence reminded everyone of the importance of protecting vulnerable people from digital exploitation. The king spent considerable time speaking with the technical staff who would operate the facility's sophisticated equipment. His questions demonstrated genuine curiosity about how the technology worked and appreciation for the expertise required to use it effectively. The technical specialists clearly felt honored to explain their work to someone who showed such genuine interest. Detective Inspector Mitchell observed the proceedings with satisfaction, knowing that the cybercrime unit would become an essential tool in protecting the communities served by Greater Manchester Police. The facility would investigate serious crimes while also working to prevent future victims through education and early intervention programs. As the official opening ceremony concluded, the king was shown examples of successful investigations that had already been conducted using similar technology at other locations. Case studies demonstrated how digital forensics had helped solve complex crimes and bring dangerous criminals to justice, providing clear evidence of the unit's potential value. The cybercrime unit represented a significant milestone in the evolution of British policing, combining traditional investigative skills with cutting-edge technology to address contemporary challenges. The royal recognition of this advancement highlighted the importance of continuous innovation in law enforcement methods. Guests were invited to tour the facility in small groups, allowing them to see the sophisticated equipment and understand how it would be used to protect their communities. The impressive technology and professional expertise on display gave everyone confidence that the police force was well equipped to handle the challenges of modern crime. As the official ceremonies concluded, King Charles III spent additional time meeting informally with police officers, civilian staff, and local community representatives. The relaxed atmosphere allowed for genuine conversations about the challenges and rewards of police work, creating personal connections that would be remembered long after the royal visit ended. Officer James Thompson found himself in a small group discussion with His Majesty about the changing nature of police work. "When I joined the force 5 years ago, I never imagined I would be involved in international investigations," James reflected. The king listened attentively as several officers shared their experiences, clearly valuing their perspectives on modern law enforcement challenges. Detective Inspector Sarah Mitchell had the opportunity to present the king with a commemorative book documenting Operation Fortress and its impact on the local community. The book contained photographs, case studies, and personal accounts from the officers involved in the investigation. "This will serve as a lasting record of exceptional police work," His Majesty noted as he accepted the gift. The informal conversations revealed the genuine mutual respect between the monarch and the police officers. Many staff members commented later that the king's obvious appreciation for their work and his understanding of the challenges they faced made the visit particularly meaningful. His ability to engage personally with people from all levels of the organization left a lasting positive impression. Mrs. Hayes presented His Majesty with a small gift from the civilian staff, a crystal paperweight engraved with the Greater Manchester Police emblem and the date of the visit. "This represents the appreciation of everyone who supports the important work done here," she explained. The king expressed genuine gratitude for the thoughtful gesture and the warm welcome he had received throughout the day. As preparations began for the royal departure, local media representatives were given opportunities to capture final photographs and brief interviews with some of the medal recipients. The coverage would help publicize the achievements of Operation Fortress and demonstrate the high standards maintained by Greater Manchester Police to the wider community. Chief Constable Armstrong accompanied the king to the waiting vehicles, their conversation continuing the themes of modern policing challenges and community partnership that had characterized the entire visit. "Your officers have set an exceptional example," His Majesty observed. "The success of Operation Fortress demonstrates what can be achieved through dedication, courage, and professional expertise." The cybercrime unit staff gathered near the building entrance to bid farewell to their royal visitor. Detective Sergeant Maria Santos felt particularly honored that the king had shown such interest in their specialized work. The official opening of the facility had provided valuable publicity for their crime prevention programs and would help build public awareness of online safety issues. Young students from local schools who had attended the ceremony lined the pathway as the king prepared to leave. Their presence symbolized the future that the police force worked to protect and His Majesty took time to speak with several of them about their educational aspirations and their understanding of police work in their communities. The royal convoy prepared to depart at precisely 1:30 in the afternoon, the timing carefully planned to allow maximum engagement with the police force while maintaining the king's busy schedule. As the vehicles pulled away from the headquarters building, staff members waved farewell from windows and doorways, bringing the historic visit to a dignified conclusion. In the hours following the departure, the impact of the royal visit became increasingly apparent. Local news broadcasts featured extensive coverage of the medal ceremony and the opening of the cybercrime unit, bringing positive attention to the police force and highlighting their recent achievements to a broader audience across Greater Manchester. The medal recipients returned to their regular duties, carrying not just prestigious honors, but renewed confidence in the importance of their work. Officer Thompson reflected that the royal recognition had validated the sacrifices made during the dangerous phases of Operation Fortress and would inspire him throughout the remainder of his police career. Detective Inspector Mitchell began the process of documenting the visit for the force's historical records. Photographs, programs, and personal accounts would be preserved to commemorate this significant day in the history of Greater Manchester Police. Future officers would be able to learn about this occasion and the high standards of service it represented. The cybercrime unit became fully operational in the weeks following the royal visit, with investigators applying their new capabilities to ongoing cases involving online fraud, digital exploitation, and cyber terrorism. The official opening had attracted attention from other police forces interested in establishing similar facilities, leading to valuable collaboration and knowledge sharing. Community response to the royal visit was overwhelmingly positive, with local residents expressing pride in their police force and confidence in the new cybercrime capabilities. The publicity generated by the visit helped strengthen the relationship between the police and the communities they served, demonstrating the mutual respect and cooperation essential for effective law enforcement. 6 months later, the cybercrime unit had already contributed to several successful prosecutions and had delivered online safety presentations to over 5,000 local residents. The investment in advanced technology and specialized training was proving its value through tangible improvements in community safety and crime prevention. The legacy of King Charles III's visit to Greater Manchester Police Headquarters extended far beyond the formal ceremonies and official recognition. It had strengthened the bond between the monarchy and law enforcement, celebrated exceptional police work, and launched an important new capability in the fight against cybercrime. The occasion would be remembered as a defining moment in the force's history and an inspiration for continued excellence in public service.